We are live, just checking Facebook. Excellent, we're all set on Facebook. All right, we will go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Westy Live. This is our City Updates Westy Live, so thank you for joining us today. My name is Jamie Chavez, and I'm the President and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce, and thrilled to have you with us today. As always, we are here to bring you the latest insights straight from City Hall, featuring conversations with our councilors, mayor, and our mayor pro tem, and other city leaders. It is your backstage pass to what's happening here in Westminster. If this is your first time joining us for this broadcast, a special welcome. Thank you for being here. You can like us and follow us on Facebook to get future notifications for when we go live. And if you're on YouTube, you can hit subscribe and view all of our previous broadcasts there as well. Mondays on the broadcast are all about city updates, and Wednesdays we offer a chance for you to meet some of our newest members of the Westminster Chamber and learn about their businesses. So I encourage you to join us for those as well. And as you watch the broadcast this morning, please feel free to engage with us, ask questions, say hello, any comments that you might have, we'll get to those during the interview. And now finally, a warm welcome to Mayor Pro Tem Sarah Nurmela. How are you today?
I am good. Thanks for having me, Jamie.
Yeah, it's been a minute since we've had you on, so I'm excited that you're here. We were just talking about how crazy life is, and it's so busy, and so I appreciate your time this morning.
Yeah, I'm happy to give it.
Awesome. Well, we can, since we haven't had you on in a while, I think we'll maybe just start by what you have going on at council tonight, anything that people might be needing to pay attention to or wanting to pay attention to or voice in on, or anything else that's going on down at City Hall.
Yeah, not that this is a public hearing, but I think you might note that we have some contracts going forward for the new fire station that's going to be up on the north end of the city. So that's really exciting to see already our 3H in action. So
where exactly is that station going to be located?
It's off of Orchard Parkway, and I can't remember the exact cross street.
But up there in that area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, here. So yeah, if you're driving up Orchard Parkway, we'll have a spot on there. It's like maybe 142nd ish. I should know better, but
I call it like the top of the boot that is Westminster, because it feels like a boot to me.
I always say it looks like a backwards Texas, but
yeah. Westminster's definitely got some unique boundaries.
Yes, I know. I live up in that area-ish, and so yeah, I call it the nosebleed section. It's
there
just
you go. That's a good one too.
But, anyway, so that's just exciting to see, and those dollars are also in action with respect to funding some street improvements in the city, particularly focusing in on the southern portion of the city. So I think we'll have some posts about that coming up soon. So good stuff. We do have a public hearing on I'm going to forget the name of this. I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't have this at my fingertips.
That's all right.
It is a public hearing on going through the agenda here. What's it called? It's a Take 5 oil change. It's being added as a potential use within the preliminary development plan for an area off of Wadsworth, and I think it's north of 92nd. So I wouldn't say it's overly controversial.
Yeah.
It's a commercial-ish use in a commercial area. So, and then let's see, of course I have this up, but it just some contracts. The other thing I was going to note that we're also doing some refinancing of some of our certificates of participation. So, which is good because, when you take out these funds, it's essentially like a mortgage, and you can refinance them if you have lower rates that you can capture. And so we are going to be saving over $2 million over time just by refinancing. And that's something that I would note that the city does pretty regularly, is watching our our debt service and seeing, well, when is the right time to refinance? And often, whenever we do it, we're saving money.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's a good thing to mention, because I would guess that a lot of people don't really think about that. When you do have those debt situations that you can make better by refinancing, it's great that the city is on top of that.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. And this is for our water fund. So that's great. Then we can put those savings into doing improvements or maintenance and repairs that we definitely need. So
Dave says we're shaped like a sideways eagle. Yep. I mean, we could probably go on for days about all of the funny things.
I know.
It's like they're looking at a cloud in the sky.
I know. One of our, this is so lovely and important. One of our former employees at Westminster, he showed me that Stanley Lake is shaped like the profile of Barney from The Simpsons, the drunk guy in the bar.
I'm gonna 100% look up a picture of that or look up the shape of Stanley Lake as soon as we're done here.
You cannot unsee it, and I have ever since he showed me that, like 15 years ago. Sorry.
I am definitely gonna look at that after this.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. You learn important things from council. Yeah.
That's why we do this. Yeah.
What else are we doing? That's kind of the big picture items from tonight that I'll highlight.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, since the last time I had you on, we had an election, and so we've got some new folks on council, and you are for the second time, I think, right? Not more than that, Mayor Pro Tem?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, great. So congratulations on that. That's exciting. And thank you for, continuing to serve the community and step into that role as well.
Yeah.
Some things that we've got going on. Let's talk a little bit about downtown, because I know that that's something that's near and dear to you.
Mm-hmm.
So as Westminster continues to evolve, particularly with like the downtown development and shifting demographics, how would you say we continue to grow thoughtfully while preserving the character that residents value in this community? And I know that's something that council considers quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a lot of places left to grow in the city, and I think we only have maybe 2% of our land is vacant and undeveloped. And for the most part, I'd say a lot of the infill development, because it's now infill, right, is trying to be as contextual as possible and paying close attention to scale of development. So trying to maintain those heights of surrounding areas. And, it is a little bit denser. These projects haven't happened for a reason. So those infill sites are financially, a lot of them, I don't know if you've all noticed, a lot of them are on hills and, have really complicated grading to deal with. And so those end up being, having to have a balance between the density that they come out as and, ideally what could be there. So, but I think what we've been encouraging for sure is just appropriate scale of development, heights, paying attention to connectivity wherever we can, ensuring that streets are connected through, they're lined up, we have trails moving through them. I think that's one of the focuses that we'll continue to have is building out our trail system and connecting those gaps. And that's what our open space folks are focusing their expenditures on. So that we'll continue to see that. And I think that's an important aspect of just finishing out our community is getting all those gaps filled.
Yeah.
And the development that, obviously the biggest activity is, the uplands area as well as the downtown. And, every now and then we'll have some other infill project coming in. So I think, for the most part, we're going to stay the same character that we've been. And for us, it's a matter of ensuring that we're putting investment into improving streets that are already in existence, improving neighborhoods that we already have, parks that we already have. And that's what the mode we're in. We're not doing a lot of new, but we have a lot of maintenance to do. And one thing that we did just currently have was an open house on the new park that will go into the Uplands area. So that's kind of exciting to actually think about what new park facility can we have and how can that serve the community in the best way possible.
Yeah,
so that's what our Parks and Rec department is trying to do. And obviously we're going to be opening the downtown park.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't. I May.
Yeah, big grand opening in May. I don't actually have the exact date in my brain right now. I'll try to look for it as we're talking. I might have it right here. Let me check. But yeah, that's going to be exciting. Just to May 30th. There we go.
Wait that long? Dang it.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be hopefully a great event and an opportunity for us to just start living more in the downtown, and hopefully that'll coincide closely with the opening of the Red Lotus Den, which will hope, just be another destination for us to go hang out at. And that just continues. I mean, I think our business environment is really active and continuing to grow, and I've noticed just more growth in small business than large business over the past few years, and that's been,
I would agree.
That's the lifeblood, the engine to our community. And when you see people investing, I mean, that just shows confidence in the city. And and we have to just continue to show that we're a city where people feel confident in investing, and that means we continue to put money towards economic development, to supporting businesses, helping people understand how to be successful, helping facilitate them opening, and continuing to do improvements to the public's realm, because those improvements are really the first impression somebody gets. And if your streets are dilapidated, it's not a place where somebody wants to invest. So and we will soon start. We are already starting to hold our study sessions on each department is giving us an overview of their budget needs for the upcoming year. So budget has already started, and so that's another opportunity for people to engage in how we're spending our limited dollars. So that's.
Well, I got to say, there's one thing. I mean, there's a lot of things that I noticed, but in the council meetings that I attend, there's always people that speak out at public hearing. Maybe it's something that's in their neighborhood that they would like to see fixed, or something has whatever the case may be. And usually those people, well, not usually, but oftentimes those people do come back and thank you guys or city staff for their quick response and getting those things figured out. So I think that's pretty unique to Westminster, how responsive the city staff and council are to our residents. So I think that's definitely something to feel good about living here.
I will say, having worked for multiple cities, we do provide some of the highest quality customer service, individualized customer service. If you write in, you're going to get a response back. May not be like the next day, but it is a full response, because that's filtering through our departments and our staff who are actually giving you a fulsome response back. And hopefully people do feel that they are valued and their input is valued. And we may not be able to address everything as quickly as one would like, particularly when it comes to traffic mitigation. That takes a longer time for us to evaluate and then put money aside and get those improvements in. But there's a systematic approach that we're taking with how those are prioritized, and then we're still trying to be responsive if something should come up. So it's never ending, and to be a service provider, and Well,
and I should have mentioned at the top of this interview, I'm mentioning it now because I can hear my kids. It's spring break. And so if I get a little guest or some noise, that's what that is. I apologize in advance, but I've got my mouse cursor over the mute button just in case they burst in.
It's okay. We all, nothing was like living through I had a kindergartner, a second grader, and a sixth grader during COVID, and trying to work full time, and kids crawling, throwing fits in the background.
Oh man, what a time for sure.
I know, we've all kind of just grown used to it.
My favorite videos are the ones during COVID where it was like very important interviews being taken, broadcast on Zoom or whatever it is, and people's kids just come in, and it's just normal now.
I know. I like that we're able to be more human now.
Yeah, that's great. And then you did mention Uplands, and I just wanted to give a plug because we are doing a business after hours at the Uplands on June 2nd, and it'll be, I believe, at one of the model homes, and so I think that will be a good chance for people to come and just check them out. I know people are really curious about the Uplands and the homes that they've been building, and so just want to throw that out there that people can come to that business after hours if they would like and check that out. So maybe we can move into maybe just talk generally about like what, from your perspective, what are the biggest challenges facing Westminster right now?
Budget cuts from the state and from the federal government, and that's just looming over us. So I talked about how we have to continue to maintain our environment, our public realm, and that's as costs are going up, that's increasing pressure to be able to hit that higher level of service that we like to be able to attain at the same time while costs are continuing to increase. And from the federal government and then the state and counties, we are seeing less investment in our social services. And so reductions in that has a direct impact on our ability to work with people in the community and rely on the counties to provide those social services that a city doesn't normally provide. And so we are trying to find ways to continue to partner not only with the counties, but with organizations that serve our community and find creative ways for the lack of funding to still get people housed or, get them the services they need to stay in their homes. So that's definitely an added pressure. And I know that we're also looking at, not that we have any say in this, but like the schools are going to be impacted as well this year. And so that kind of filters into like what kind of after school programming or food access do people have. And we've partnered with school districts in the past to provide like breakfast and lunch during the summer. And, it really is just bolstering our community and making sure everybody has a good quality of life. And when some of those supports are being pulled away, like, what do we do?
Yeah, it's incredibly tough when we're, dealing with limited resources. And so it's a big challenge that you all have. And I think that's important for people to think about. But what is something residents may not fully understand about how you all are making decisions at the city level? Something that might help them kind of understand where you're coming from a little more.
I think, and you may be present sometimes when you get public comment going both ways. Like, people they want to feel safe in their community. And at the same time, people want others to have the same level of safety that they have. And so when that comes down to the social service provision, where we've relied externally on our partners in the organizations that we have, our nonprofits and our counties, like they have filled, the gap there. But there's always this pressure on both sides to not see things in our community that make people feel less secure. And that's, like seeing people, maybe out on the street, or, camping in open space areas where maybe fires could impact their homes, and there's a true fear because there's real life examples of significant things being, events.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's like, the provision of just making sure people, aren't just, where do they go and how do they get support, and how do you help them, and do we have any infrastructure in the city to, give them a safe place to stay? And those are the things that we're trying to work on at both ends. And I think that makes it definitely hard because I don't feel like we please anybody fully in that. And it kind of just goes to a lot of the stuff that we do.
Yeah.
Whether it's the speed of delivery or the fact that we just can't get to improving a street or a park as soon as we'd like. I can only relate it to just, you're running a household, you're running a city hold. And, you only have so much money that you can spend on things, and, do you water your plants or feed your dog, or like what are the, when you think about the kinds of choices you have to make, especially when you start to really get tight on your finances, what can you actually do? So anyway, those, bringing it back up to the city level, it's just, those are hard choices to make, and we'll be making those during the budget time frame, and hopefully people will continue to kind of, I think, work constructively with us to figure out, let's all be solution oriented and think about it as we're all in it together. And hopefully not, I know we're not going to hit everybody's, perfect desire for how things are going to be done, but
yeah. If I were in your shoes, and maybe, everybody's different, but if I were in your shoes, I think that would be one of the hardest things, is to know that you're dealing with such limited resources and you're not going to be able to make everyone happy all the time. And I'm just a people pleaser, so I would that would be one of the harder things for me.
I know. I'm a Gen X people pleaser too. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, serving as mayor pro tem requires you to have both the leadership capacity and the ability to collaborate with people freely. What have you learned about serving in council in today's environment in that role?
I think just serving, whether it's my role or any role as a councilor, I think just learning to appreciate every single person who's put their time and their heart on the line to serve, and that we all, it just continues to just make me happy to see when we actually have the overlap of values, and we may have different ways on how those values would be best served, but there's so much for us to be looking at that we have in common. And I think it's just important to focus on how can we get to solutions together, and not devalue anyone's contributions or different perspective on how something can be accomplished. And I don't know, I'm just kind of let's all just be happy and get along. And we do in general. That's what I really do value about this council, is that I really do enjoy every single person who's on council, and that they are, and I've been able to enjoy even all my past council colleagues, and wow, the heart that everybody brings into it. And I miss folks that and I'm welcoming new ones, and hopefully and I think it's just a matter of having patience when you get on council too. It's you want to get everything done, and part of being on council is also prioritizing just what do we actually focus on. Can't fix everything. Staff can't be doing everything. So what are our priorities?
Yeah. Well, from an outsider's perspective, I thought, when Mayor McNally retired, and it was her last council meeting, and it was just really apparent, the reverence and respect and even, just really genuine feelings that everyone on council had for her. And so I think that's really special when, political differences or ideological differences can get put aside so that people can really care about each other and get things done. So that's really great. And I see that happening with the new council too. And so, there's municipalities whose councils do not get along at all. And so it's just kind of this huge mess all the time. So I think that's another thing that Westminster does really well.
Yeah. Hopefully we can continue that culture.
Yeah, definitely. If you could leave Westminster stronger in one specific way by the end of your term, what would it be? What are you really driven to do right now?
I'm always I am a planner, folks. So just making sure we are continuing to diversify our revenues so that we are, set up for success in the future. And that means diversifying what we're investing in. And so we're going to have things paying us back over time. Just continue that. Think entrepreneurially, act entrepreneurially, and that I think, and just being smart, refinancing when we can, and continuing that culture of just being always looking a step ahead. And I think one thing that I probably would like to see that I haven't seen us focusing on as much is just beauty, the vision of who we are as a community, and making sure that when we do invest in the city that we are working our best to make it beautiful. And because I am a designer after all. And I think that has so much impact on our vision, on just our quality of life and our perception of where we live. It turns into valuing and feeling valued. And so that would be something that I hope we can continue to work towards.
Yeah. Well, in that vein, in the planning vein, do you have a good book that you would recommend for someone to read to kind of learn a little bit more about, what goes into particularly, I think, city planning? Because I think that there are folks that would be interested in learning more about that.
Right off the top of my head, I'm going to forget the book.
This always happens.
I'm trying to remember if it's on my on my bookshelf right now. Shoot. There is one that I loved, and it was actually about a. Okay, you can probably. This is so pathetic, but
we can just Google it right now. I'm totally fine with it.
Okay. Give me a second.
Yeah, no, that's great. We have a book club at the chamber too, and so we're always reading professional development books, which if anybody's interested, by the way, if that's something that you haven't explored yet, we meet once a month at Kokopelli, and it is a great opportunity to meet people and learn a little bit out of some books and from other people's experiences.
Okay. And now back to the book. Yeah. It's called, now I participated in years ago, the Mayor's Institute of City Design, and they give you this book, and it was so approachable, and it's called The Mayor, Joe Riley and the Rise of Charleston. And now it's a strong mayor government. So this was somebody who came in and just had vision for a different Charleston, and how economic development could be channeled to create new opportunity, new businesses, beautiful places, museums, and just the work that he did. And he was there for 30 years. And he actually started the Mayor's Institute of City Design. And so in that vein of thinking about how do you make beautiful communities and what does it take, it's just a great story of how somebody just came in and just had that vision and that dogged determination to just work toward things. And sometimes it took like years and years and years, and failures too. And I think
Yeah.
that's a beautiful story of evolution of a community and how people can pull together. So.
Awesome. I'll definitely pick a copy of that up. That sounds so good. But I'm a huge dork, so it might be.
It goes fast. It's a fast read.
Oh, good. All right. Awesome. Yeah. Well, we're about out of time, but is there anything else you want to share with people today? And if not, then we will catch you again in a few months.
Well, I will just note that we do have, if anyone has questions about the Front Range Passenger Rail, I am on the board. And we are going to have, I'm checking my calendar to make sure I have the right date, but in April, on April 29th, we'll have a public meeting on the Front Range Passenger Rail in Westminster. So that'll be, and hopefully, obviously we'll have information out for that, but that'll be in the City Hall Council chambers. And people can learn about like, what is that going to be? How does that relate to the joint service that we'll be getting sooner than later? And what does that bring to Westminster in general? Why should we care? And why should we want it to move forward? So
awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah, people will be interested for sure. All right. Well, thanks again for joining me today. I know it's crazy busy, so I really appreciate your time. I know our viewers do too. Thanks for everybody who watched live, and thanks for everybody who's going to replay. And I hope that everybody has a great week.
Thank you, Jamie.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.